Okay, students. So welcome back to the lesson Data Definition Language, lesson 12 of Database Management Systems. So today we are going to talk about SQL. So there are you have already have some sort of an idea about SQL as you have done your project, and I think you have done SQL in some sort of another module as well. But anyway, let's go from zero onwards, from A to Z, and learn about what is SQL. So today you can see here, data definition language. We are going to learn about a sort of SQL, a sort of SQL. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Okay. So you, there are types of SQL. There are types of SQL. Okay. So what are the types of SQL there are? Let's see. So there are DDL, DDL, DML, DCL, and TCL. Okay. So what is DDL then? DDL stands for Data Definition Definition Language. Okay. So DML, Data Manipulation Language. Data Control Language. Transition Control Language. Okay, so from these languages, these you have to understand, though this is DADL, DML, DCL, TCL, it's SQL. The way SQL is being used, right? The way SQL is being used, we call it DDL, DML, DCL, or TCL. But you have to remember, these all are types of SQL. Types of SQL. So today we are going to talk about data definition language. So what is the use of data definition language? So when we are using SQL in order to modify a database, like to create databases, to create tables, update a table, to delete a table, so when that process is being done by SQL, we call it data definition language. So today we are going to learn about data definition language. Okay. So in this 12th lesson, you will learn about ways in creating and modifying a database or a table using a data definition language. You will learn about creating and modifying database or a table. So I said before, creating and modifying a database or a table, right? Using SQL. So when you are using SQL to create and modify a database or table, we call it data definition language. In the last few lessons, you have learned about creating a relational schema. So in this lesson, we will learn how to start developing a database in RDBMS like MySQL. So earlier you learned about relational schema developing, creating a relational schema, mapping relational schema. So from here onwards, we will learn about how to physically create a relation inside a RDBMS or inside RDB, relational database. So inside the relational database, we are going to learn how to create relations, how to create tables using a relational database management system like MySQL, like MySQL. So here learning, so here learning, sorry for that. So here learning outcomes. After completing this lesson, you will be able to create and modify a database schema. From this lesson, you will be able to create, alter, drop databases and tables. Create, alter, and drop. So you know that create means like creating one. You know that, right? The term create means creating a table. Alter means updating. Drop means deleting. Drop means deleting. Create, update, and delete, or create, alter, and drop. And you will be learning how to use data types and for add foreign keys and other constraints. Constraints. You know what is a constraint by now. Okay? A data definition language is a computer language used to create and modify the structure of database objects. Structure of database objects in a database. So these objects, structure of these database objects. So these objects include views, schemas, tables, indexes, and etc. In this lesson, we will learn about creating and modifying a relational schema in the RDBMS. SQL, or we call it structured query language, is a standard computer language for relational database management and data manipulation. Most RDBMSs support SQL. Most RDBMSs support SQL. Thus, it can be used across several different platforms. So we talked about this part in lesson 11, the previous video as well. So you can type your SQL commands in the command line or GUI. So I have already shown that in lesson 11 as well. Already we have installed MySQL in our machines, isn't it? So now it is time to create our first database in MySQL. So in this lesson, we'll be using phpMyAdmin. That's why I said, if you need, you can use the workbench as well. But here, we are thoroughly using phpMyAdmin. So I think you have already are very familiar with phpMyAdmin as well because you have done it and you have hand-on experience using this in your project module. But anyway, we'll look at this very thoroughly. Right? So you can see here, this is the SQL option in phpMyAdmin using exam. Understand? SQL option. So it is important to know commonly use DDL in SQL. What is DDL? Data definition language. So commonly used commands. So it's better to know the commonly used commands in SQL when we are using it as DDL. Yes, the first one is create. Create. You can see here, create, alter, and then drop. So accordingly, we will be able to create the databases as per the relational model we have developed previously. Okay, so let's go and see. So now, let's take our notepad and type everything in the notepad first. Please type, don't copy and paste. Do not go to copy and paste, please type it. Right? To create a database with a given name in SQL, you can use the following command. Okay, so it's very easy. Create database. Create database. Okay, create database. So this is the command. So what I need you to do is type everything in the notepad first and then save it. Every time you type something, save it. Okay. So I'm saving it as RDBMS lesson 12 commands. So you can save it. You know why I'm telling you to save it every time? Because if something happens to the computer when you are doing this in the 1.5 hours of your practical exam, then you will have the saved commands in the notepad. Otherwise, you have to type again. So because why? Because you have to upload the text notepad to your Moodle. Nothing can be uploaded otherwise because only the text file can be uploaded. So don't waste your time, right? Okay, so create database, right? So here they are creating a database called company. Company. So the company can be, you can insert the company in simple form, it doesn't matter. Insert, right? And then the most important thing is semicolon. The semicolon. Understand? The semicolon. Please make sure to make it a habit to insert the semicolon at the end when you're typing and save it. So I did this in the previous lesson, isn't it? Drop database. So let's see. Let's go through everything up to this point and then do it practically. So we can get an error. So you can see if the database exists in the RDBMS. So let's say, so you created a database called company. Okay. You create a database. So you know there are two ways to create a database called company. How can you do it? You can go to the GUI. See, wait till GUI loads. And the other one is you can simply go and create a database from here. Create database company. This is another method, create database company. And the other method is you can simply go here and type create database company from here. And there's another method, simply you can press new from here and database name and create. All right. Press here new and then comes interface to create a new what you call a database from here. We insert company here and then create. It will be eventually created here. Okay? So when you are using SQL to create, you have two methods. First one is you can go to PHP MyAdmin and go here and type create database from here, and you can either create database from here. Okay, so you can create the database in few ways, right? So when you're using SQL, you can use two methods. Suppose you can go to the GUI and use SQL, and you can use the SQL from your command line as well. But let's say we can get an error if the database exists in the RDBMS. That means, what is the database existing in the RDBMS? We can get an error if already a database called company is there. So if there is a database called company in the database and we are trying to create another database called company, they won't allow to do it. Okay, we can get an error if the database exists in the RDMA. So it is better to check if they exist before creating the database. Okay, so we can remove the existing database and create a new database by like this. Drop database if exist company. Create database company. Okay, so now with this command, what is happening? Drop database if exists company. If a database exists in the in MySQL called company, drop it, and then again create a new database for company. Drop the existing one or delete the existing company database and then create a new database. That is what is being done by here. So if not, we can create the new database if there's no other database with the same name. That means the old database will not be removed. Okay? We can create the new database if there is no other database with the same name. That means the old database will not remove. So if not, we can create new database. So we can create a new database, and if there is no other database with the same name, the old database will not be removed. So here we can see like the same thing here, same thing, right? So let's say with this command, we can say create a database called company. Create a database called company. If not, a database company is already in the database, right? Create a database called company. If not, a company database is inside the company. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Let's go to here. Create database. Now let's create a database called company, right? And press enter. Right, so now you can see query OK, one row affected. Okay, so this means your database is being created. Look at here. Okay, the company database is there. So now you can see a database called company is already existing inside your MySQL. We have created it, right? So create database company. So you can see here now there's a, oh, sorry, so this one has to be a semicolon, right? So this is a colon. So if there something happens like this, an error comes and nothing is responding, you can simply press insert exist and exit and a semicolon. Okay, you come out of that error. Okay. So now let's see. Error. So now you can see an error came, isn't it? Create database company. So I have already created a database school company here. And I am again going to create a database school company. So now when I'm going to do that, what will happen? Can't create a database company because the database already exists. The database already exists. So if some sort of a problem happen when you are typing in the CMB, you can simply type exit semicolon and it will come out of it. It's good that it happened because now I can show it to you as well. Okay, right? You can see here database already exists. So how to see the existing databases? Show databases. This has to be databases, right? Not database. Show databases, then semicolon. Then you can see the existing databases in the MySQL. Okay. Of MariaDB, MySQL, MariaDB, right? Right. So you can see company information schema, MySQL, performance schema, PHP, MyAdmin, test, and the university. Now you can see the company code. Test is there. Okay, test is there. So let's see. Drop database if exists company. Drop database. Drop database if exists company. Okay. So first, what we are going to do is we'll do this one. Create database and then create database if not exists company. This one. So follow my lead, okay? So always type this in the notepad, create database if not exist company. Create database if not exists company. Okay, so create database if not exist company. Okay. The create database didn't create it. So why? Because if not, we can create a new database if there's no other database with the same name. See, that means the old database will not be removed. See, you can see still the company database is there. The old database didn't remove. The old database didn't got removed. Okay. So this is good because let's say like from this what happens. From this what happens. So let paste it here. Please don't do this. What I'm doing here. Right. So from this, what happens? So here drop database if exists company, this will drop this one or delete this one and create a new one. This will drop or delete this one and create a new one. So here what is happening? Create database if not exists company. So when we are going to insert this command, what will happen? If there is no existing database called company, if there is no existing database called company, create one. So now if we press enter, nothing will happen, because if there is no exist company called if there is no existing database called company, create a new one. So there is a database called company. So it will not make a new one because there is already a database called company. So here what will happen? Drop database if exists company. If there is a database called company, drop it. That means delete it and create a new one. So here what will happen? If there is a database called company, do not create a new one. So if there is no database called company, yes, of course, create a new one. So let's see. Actually, this is there to make sure or double check whether there is a database called company. All right, so now we have, you can see, you can go and see. Now I have deleted the database. You can see no database called company. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this one. So now let's see. I can use this command. Okay. Create database company. I can create this one, doesn't matter. I can use this command and create. But let's see, if I press this one, there will be an error. If there is a, let's say I am not sure that there is a database inside that inside MySQL as company. I'm not sure that there is a database code. Right? So if I press enter, if there is no database code company, of course, then it will be created. A database called company will be created. But let's say, see, there is already a database called company, and I enter this command, can't create database company. The database is existing. This error comes. So to prevent that, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to enter this command. I'm going to enter this command. Right? So I'm going to enter this command as like this. Okay. Okay. So now, sorry. You can see create database if not exist company. So now what will happen? Right? The query is okay. The query is running. So now we can say, if there is no company database existing in MySQL, create one. If there is a database called company, don't create one. Doesn't matter. Don't create one. So now you can see, so databases company database is being created. So this was created because why? Because there was not a database which was previously in the in MySQL. So with this command, create database if not exists company. That means if there is no database in MySQL, create this one. Simple. So now we have created a database, and let's see the drop as well, right? Drop database company. Drop database company. All right, query is okay. Query is okay. Let's see. Query is okay. So the database is being deleted. So now I know that definitely there is no database inside. So there's no database inside MySQL core company. So I can, without any problem, I can simply give this command, create database company. Okay, now it's been created. Yeah, good. So now we have created databases. We have created databases. So let's go to create what? Tables. Tables. Right. We will be creating a table using relational schema we have identified in previous lessons. So we have identified relational schemas in the previous lesson. So what is a relational schema? The plan, the blueprint of a table. So each relation will be converted to a table. In a relation, you must indicate the attributes and their data types. So now what we are going to do is we are going to take the plan of the table. So the plan has attributes, primary keys, foreign keys, and constraints. So then what we are going to do is we are going to convert it into a table. Convert it into table using SQL, using DDL. Okay? So we have learned about data types in lesson 7. In this lesson, we will be using those data types to create tables in MySQL RDMS. So we will be creating, altering, or deleting tables in the database. We will be creating, altering, or deleting, or creating, updating, and deleting tables in the database. Since there could be multiple databases. Since there could be multiple databases in RDBMS, we have to identify the correct database which we need to insert, delete, or update the tables. Understand? So you can see here in MySQL now, you can see here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 databases. Okay. So information schema test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 were default databases. So I created the university database in the previous lesson and I created the company database now in this lesson 12. So basically, so in order to insert tables, we need to select the specific database which we have to alter. How to do so? You can use this command, use, use. Let's say I'm going to use company database. Now, use company. This is the command. So let's see, go to save. Every time remember to save these things, okay? Right, so how to do that? Go, use, company, and semicolon. So just see if I enter, when I press the enter key, see what will happen here. MariaDB in this non, just see what will happen to this non. Okay, now you can see the database is being changed into what? Company. This non became company. So now you are inside the company database. Now you are inside the company database. Right. So now you have done the first part. So let's see how to do the second part. Right. First, let's consider the structure of creating a database. Okay. The structure of creating a database. I'm going to copy this one and paste it inside a whiteboard. Okay. So this is the structure. So I'm going to create a structure from my own. I'm not going to look at this. I'm going to create my own structure. Okay. So first of all, what you have to do is you have to type create table. So now you are already inside the database. That means like this. You have selected the database from all the existing databases. Okay, so this is MySQL RDBMS, right? From there, you can see there are different databases. In my case, I think there are 6. So let's say this is company, this is university, this is another one. So now, when you are typing use company, semicolon, from this MySQL, you will be able to use this one. Now what you are going to do is to go inside this table and create, sorry, inside this database and create tables. Simple as that. Let's do it. Now you are inside this database. And now you are going to create one table. This is what we are doing. Let's see. So create table, simple as that, create table. Now you can give a name to the table. So what is the name which is being given here? Department, department, right? Department. Okay. Then what you have to do is open a bracket, close a bracket, and put the semicolon. Understand? Open the bracket, close the bracket like this, and put the semicolon. And press enter. Okay, now inside here, you have to define the column names. Column name 1 and the data type and the comma. Column name 2, data type and the comma. The comma has to be inserted to separate the columns. So you can see here the department name, varchar, and then not null. Let's see. Okay. D name, varchar, not null. Okay. So let's only take these two. Okay, now you can see. Right. Actually, this is the basic structure. Create table. So from here, we are creating the department. And from inside the department, so let's say now you have created a table called department. So from these two, you are telling there's one attribute called dname and another attribute called dnumber. And here, the dname can be varchar and the data length is 10. This is varchar. This is varchar and the data length has to be 10 and not null. That means values cannot be null there. Right? There cannot be spaces. Everything has to be filled up. And in dnumber, this one also is an integer. The data type has to be integer and it has to be, again, not null. There has to be no spaces. Everything has to be filled up. Okay, so let's see. And of course, we can the primary key as dnumber. This is the primary key now. This is the primary key. And the unique dname. So what is unique dname? The every value which we insert has to be unique in the attribute dname. Every value we have to insert has to be unique. So for example, so in the department table, dname is like financial department, HR department, or accounting department, education department. Let's say like there are a few departments like that. So if we have entered dname as human resource, we cannot enter human resource again Why? It has to be unique. You can enter human resource 1, human resource 2, because 1 and 2 will separate these two as they will be unique names. But anyway, you cannot enter human resource again. That is unique. Understand? So here it's very simple. So we have two attributes, the name, department name, and department number. Department name has to be Vacha, and its data length has to be 10. And there's a constraint called not null. There has to be no spaces. And then again, department name has to be unique. And here, the next one is department number. It has to be integer. And of course, there has to be no spaces, not null. And they have defined department number as the primary key of this table. So that means we have to what? Underline this department number. Underline this department number. The table has to be like this. I will draw it properly. With everything inside. So now you have to understand. So every attribute, when its attribute has been defined, you have to put a semicolon. See, and remember the a comma, and remember the semicolon here as well. Right. So everything has to be inserted inside these brackets. So now the table comes as this. Okay, so this is department. Let's say this is department name here. We change the. It doesn't matter if we change, this sequence. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you can do it like this. So the other one, department number, goes here, and you have to underline this like this. So this is the primary key. So this is the table which we are going to make. So you can see it. The data length is 10 here, and this is these both has to be not null. Okay, and the name has to be unique here. HR, finance, accounting, like that. So I'm going to take this. Copy it here. I will give you this what you call this notepad. Okay, so right, so you can see here now. So this is separate one, creating tables. So we are creating a table called department, and you'll see. Sorry. All right, so I'm not going to copy and paste it there. I'm going to simply type it. Please remember to save everything. So create table. I'm going to create a table called department. Okay, and then space D number, right? D number. So it is an integer. So why I'm telling you to type these things is because then you will have hands-on experience in typing without any errors. If there's error, then this query will be not executed. The name, wow, Vacha, not null, then again a comma, then defining the primary key. Primary key is D number, comma, unique D name, and then two brackets. Here it has to be two brackets. This one has to be deleted from here. Two brackets, and then right, and press enter. Right, query is okay. That means the table has been created. Table has been created. Okay. As can be seen from SQL scripts above, a constraint, not null, may be specified on attribute if null values are not to be allowed. Key attributes can be specified via primary key and unique phrases. Okay, so you know what is unique stands for now and what is primary key stands for. Okay. Okay, students, so we have now created this table, create table department, understand? Create table department. So in create table department, we can see the number, integer, not null. So we have clarified the attributes as well. Okay. So let's see. Now you can see show tables. If you are inside the company database and you type show tables, you will be able to see the tables inside the department. Okay. Show tables. Okay. Yeah. Department. Now we have created one table called the department table. The department table. Okay. Right. Good. With this command, you can see the tables inside the database which we have created called company. Okay. So now you have, yes, to define a primary key, you can use one of the following options. To define a primary key, you can use the following options. What are the options? Yes, there are three options. The first one is called this one. Create table department one, dname Vasha. Okay, we'll stop it from here. We are not going to look at this. Let's look at what we have done here in our whiteboard. So you can see here, when I have identified the primary key. I have identified the primary key here, from here. So I have mentioned the attributes. And then I have mentioned the constraints and the primary keys. So, right? The primary keys here. So I have mentioned the keys here. Keys here, you can see here, this has been mentioned. Key attributes can be specified via primary key and unique phrases. So what I have done is I have mentioned the key attributes separately. But there's another method. There's another method like this. So when you are creating the table, without mentioning the keys separately, you can mention the key in front of the attribute. For example, like this. Take this one. Like this. All right, so now we'll modify this like this. Department name, department number, right. I'm going to exactly match this one. Okay, so like this. Now you can see. Now you can see the difference. So you can see here. We have made department, okay, department number integer not null. And here we have mentioned it as a primary key, but now you can see department number integer the primary key. So it is mentioned here as it is the primary key, and this has to be a semicolon here. Has it not been put there? Okay. Now it has to be a semicolon here. Number, unique name. So you can see here, the other thing is you can see the final part before the closing bracket, no need to put the same, put the comma. Before the final part, before the final bracket, no need to put the comma. But in other, when you are defining other things, the constraints, the attributes, you have to put the comma. So here what has happened? So here, this one doesn't have a comma because this is the final bracket. Before final bracket, we are not putting a comma. But other than that, definitely you have to put the comma. See, comma here, and then no comma here. I think you understood that as well. Okay, so now you can see, right? So you can see another difference here. That's why I wanted to show you another difference. So here, D number, integer, D number, integer, right? There's a not null one here, not null constraint. It's been defined, but here you can see there is no such thing as not null. Why is that? Because primary key defaultly is not null. Because primary key defaultly is not null. So because of that, no need to again describe here that D number is a not null. It has to be not null because primary key is already defaultly not null. No need to insert not null constraint here because of that. So why have we inserted not null here then? Because we didn't mention D number here anywhere as the primary key. At the end, we are mentioning it as the primary key. Because of that, we have to insert not null here. But here, no need to do that because we have mentioned the primary key in itself when we are defining the attribute. So no need to put not null. Please remember that as well. Okay, so now the department table is being created. The department table is being created. Okay, so now we have created a table called department. So let's see whether the department tables, everything is underlined. So we have put it as not null and vacha null. Okay, so we have given some constraints and yeah, constraints, and we have created some column attributes. So let's see whether these attributes are already created. Without going to the graphical user interface and seeing them, you can come and see it here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we have to type describe. Describe what? Describe the department table. Department table. Press enter. Okay, now you can see here the fields we have entered D number, D name, the type integer 11, varchar 10. So where did that integer 11 came from? We didn't insert anything. No, yeah, you can see here integer. Don't just insert it, but this is the default value. Integer default value. Null values are not allowed. Okay, default values null, null, default null, but null values are not allowed. Then the key is the primary key is D number, and then unique key name is unique. So we have clearly made a table inside company database. Okay, so now you can go to your database and see. Okay, previously we didn't have any tables. Now we have a table, isn't it? So let's see. Okay, you can see D number, D name. See D number, integer 11, D name. Okay, null values no, right? Then this is the primary key. Okay, this is the primary key. This is unique. So everything is being shown here. Everything is being shown here. But no data is still inserted. No data is being still inserted. So if you go to the database company, you can see that a table department is being created. Table department is being created. Right? So we did everything using the command line interfaces, not by using the GUI. So why I did it, I'm repeating again, because you have your practical exams through CLI. You have to check through CLI. So you have to remember these commands. You have to remember these commands. So what did we use here? So we used a use company, create the tables here, and then show tables and describe. Describe, let's say, table name, right? Department. Go here, save it. Right? That is the way you have to do your practicals. All right, so now let's see. So you know, all right. Just next one is if you have a composite primary key, so you know an instance where a composite primary key is being made. What is the instance? When you have a many-to-many relationship between two tables, a many-to-many relationship. One example is that when you have a relationship between two tables and the relationship is many-to-many, a third table is being created in the middle. We cannot keep many-to-many relationships. Understand? So what we are going to do is we are going to decompose or divide those two tables into three tables, and the relationship becomes many to one, one to many. Understand? We can divide the many to many into two. We divide the many to many into two. Okay. So now the many to many table which had two tables, many to many relationship which has two tables, now we have become three tables. So in the third table, what we are going to put? We are going to put the primary key of that other table and the primary key of that other table, both the tables together, and make a composite primary key. We call it composite primary key together. So in a situation like that, we have to show the primary key as this: project number, employee name. So let's draw it now. Okay, now I will draw it and show the situation scenario. Project number. So let's get this and paste it here, and we'll make it a little bit readable. Okay, so now you can see here. So now you are able to read this. Read this, right? Try to read this. Okay, so let's see. So there are two tables. The first table is, we call it, let's call this, there are two tables. Let's draw two tables first. Okay, you can see here P number and EMP number. P number and EMP number. So let's make this. So this make this project. This EMP employee. Or the other way around, right? Other way around. Please give me a minute. This is EMP. Let's say this is EMP. This is project. So here we see the relationship as work. So now the relationship comes as this. Many employees work in many projects. Man-to-many relationship. Understand? Right? So here you can see there is a primary key called EMP number. And here another primary key called project number. So we can't keep things like this. So what we have to do is we have to divide this like. So how to divide? So this. Yeah. Okay. So you can see here, right? Uh, this has to be other way around. I'm sorry. Okay. So right. So now Uh, this is EMP. This is project. This is EMP. This is project. So what is the middle table's name there? The newly created middle table's name is one. Project hours. I will put it as PH, project hours. So in project hours, you can see there are uh, three attributes actually: P number, employee, and work hours. We create the table here. P number, EMP number, and then work hours. So now in the third table, you know what we are going to put is we are going to put these tables. When you are making this into a relational schema, what you're going to put this table's primary key and this table's primary key get together and combine those two together like this. Composite primary key. Okay, so this is the composite primary. In a situation like this, you may be able to make a table like this. So here, remember, these two becomes the primary key. So now it's how you show the primary key here. So here P number and EMP number both are used as a primary key. Just the option A mentioned about cannot be used if in a situation like this. This cannot be used in a situation like this. This option A cannot be used. So you have to go to option B when you are showing a composite primary key. So that is what's been done here. This is option B. All right, so now let's go to define foreign keys actually. So now you know why we put foreign keys. The foreign keys are made to show the relationship between two tables. The relationship between two tables. Understand? To make sure you have put the relationship between, to make sure you have saving the relationship between, safeguarding the relationship between two tables. So there are few constraints which happens when you are putting, when you are defining the foreign keys. There will be some problems, some constraints you face when you are making the tables. Right? Please remember that some problems and some constraints you will practically come upon when you are making the tables. Understand? Please remember that when you are putting a foreign key inside a table, and when you are altering tables, when you are deleting tables, when you are creating tables, there will be some problems. You will face some problems, some constraints as well. So please remember that in your mind. Please remember that in your mind. Some problems when you will face when you are putting the foreign key. So let's see what is happening here. Okay, so now let's see. So you can see the table employee is there. See the table employee. Shall we draw that table here then? One, two, three, and four. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Good. So All right, so this is a table which you have created here. This is a table. And you can see clearly here, employee number is the primary key. So we'll underline this. Employee number is the primary key. So this is being done. Employee number. Employee name, Vacha, not null. Okay. And but so you can see here now. In the previous one, you can see. So I remember in the previous one here, D number, integer, D number, integer, not null is being mentioned here. Can you remember? The not null is being mentioned here, and then they have defined the primary key here. So I told you here, the not null is not being mentioned because primary keys clearly are defaultly they are primary keys are not null. Okay, so no need to mention not null here. So you can see here what has happened, what they have done. Can you see? Employee number is the primary key now. Employee number is the primary key now, but they have not mentioned not null here. They have not mentioned not null here, but in the previous one, when we are doing that, okay, creating the table department, though they have mentioned the primary key here, they have mentioned that D number is as not null here, but there's no, if you have, if you don't mention it here, it doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because why? Because we are defining D number as a primary key here. Defining key number as a primary key here. But if you have mentioned it here, and later when you are mentioning primary key as department number, still it is there. This not null is there. Doesn't matter. It doesn't. It won't affect negatively or any way to the creating table. Doesn't matter. Okay. You will keep that in your mind. Right. So employee name, okay, Vacha 30, not null. So and then birthday, data type is date here. And then there is a D number integer. D number is integer. So this is the primary key. We have mentioned that. And this is D number. Where did that D number come from? That's what I want to know. Okay. So there's another table called department. There's another table called department. Let's say in the department table, we can't say how many attributes there are by looking at this one. So we'll assume, yes, department number. And I'll assume that there's another one called department name. All right. So what has happened now? So now we have mentioned, so here you can see, they have mentioned employee number as the primary key. From here onwards, they are mentioning the key attributes, okay, the keys, defining the keys. So here they have defined the attributes of the table. Here they are defining the keys of the table. The attributes, the keys of the table. So they have mentioned employee number as the primary key, and they have mentioned D number as the foreign key. So where did this foreign key came from? This foreign key is the primary key of department table, right? So this is the EMP table. This is the department table. So they have taken the primary key of the department table and put it here as the foreign key. So how can they, how have they shown that this process? How have they shown this process in the query from here? So here you can see mentioned foreign key of this table, employee table, they have mentioned as department number, this one. And from there, they are telling them. So they are telling us this foreign key is referencing, the department table's primary key, the name of the primary key is D number. this one. So now you know this has to be changed to D number. Okay, D number. So this primary key D number has become D number, D norm in as the foreign key of the employee table. So this references means the relationship between these two. This one. The references is means the relationship between these two. So this is the practice which I want you to use is this one. First, students, first what you have to do is define the attributes here. Define the attributes. See, employee number, e-name, v-date, department number. All right. Then in the next part, define the key attributes, the keys. Define the keys. Okay. Primary key is employee number. Foreign key is D number. Reference in department, department tables. Reference in department tables. D number primary key. So when you are doing this, typing this query like this, no mistakes will happen. No mistakes will happen. Right? The chances you will do mistakes are very low. Okay, please remember why we are putting references, why we are putting this as this and this as this, right? Because of this situation. So I have shown you how this is being made. Okay. So here employee table references department table. So therefore a foreign key will be created in employee table as D number. This one. That will be referring to the primary key of department tables D number. This one. Now you understood what that is. Okay. So it is important to note that data type of D number in employee and D number in department has to be same. Has to be same. You can see here. You can see here because they both are, foreign key and the primary key are the both attribute, both same attribute. Okay, same attribute. So if the data type of this foreign key is integer, of course, for the primary key, department tables primary key, D number, this one's data type has to be an attribute as well. Please remember that. If this is an integer, you have put this as integer, please cross-check and see whether the primary key, department tables primary key, D numbers data type is also an integer. So there are several referential integrity options that we can consider when writing the SQL script. Referential integrity. So what is referential integrity? I think you know. When you have done information management, can you remember when we are making a table? In Access, we put referential integrity. We put referential integrity. Okay. I assume that you remember this part. Okay. I assume you remember this part. We did this in information management. So let's see. So when we are creating this department master table here, and you can see here, there's a one-to-many relationship. So you can see here, when we are creating this relationship, what we did was we ticked referential integrity. Enforce referential integrity. So why have we enforced referential integrity? Why have we done this? Okay. Why we have done this? Pretty simple, right? So let's go here Actually, I don't need to do this because you have already know these things, but I will do this to make sure that if you have to have this preliminary knowledge in order to go further in this PDF. So that is why I'm doing this. Okay, please remember that. So now you can see here, there's a one-to-many relationship. That means many employees are working in one department. Let's see whether that is true. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 departments, right? IT, CS, computer engineering, and information systems. So there you can see many employees are working. So you can see here, these two employees, employee number ID 5 and employee ID 6, both are working in one department. And here also, this employee ID 10, employee ID 12, employee ID 15 also are working in one department. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 employees are working in one department. 5 to 1, 1 to, that means many to 1. 5 to 1 means many to 1. That means one to many relationship. Okay, so now you can say the relationship is one to many. That is correct. So now you can see here, right? So let's say there are five, only four departments. So now I'm going to insert another person here called Chamat. So now Chamat is from Gampaha. He's working in the fifth department. And I will enter. Okay, now you can see here, you cannot add or change the record because a related record is required in the table. So as you can see, there is no fifth department in the department table, only 4 departments. So now we cannot insert Chamat into a fifth department. This is called referential integrity. We have make sure that we have put referential integrity, right? So now we cannot do so. So we can, there are, let's say, a few options. Either we go and create a fifth table, in the department of master table, or we can put Chamat into existing department. So now let's put Chamat into existing department. Okay, and go and create another department here called fifth department. Let's say this as computer systems engineering, and let's say it's situated in Jaffna. All right. Let's save it. Come here. Close it. Okay. Let's save it and close. Go to employee table. We'll put the 17th employee called Ruan. He's in Jaffna, so he can go there. And now we'll put 5th and press enter. Now you can put Ruan to the computer systems engineering department, as there is a department called computer system engineering. So this is, we have make sure that referential integrity is there. Referential integrity is there. So now let's come here. Okay. So how did we put referential integrity there? You can go and see. Yeah. So department tables, primary key is in employee tables as the foreign key. So now you know, in a one-to-many relationship, what we are going to do is, you are going to take the one side's relations primary key and put it in the many side relations as the foreign key there. That is what has happened here, right? You took the one side's primary key, put it in the many sides relations foreign key. See? Many side relations foreign key. Okay, so now that is been happened here. So you have already learned about that previously in previous lessons. So now you can see we have enforced referential integrity here. So now let's come to our PDF here. Okay. So now let's see this referential integrity here. So let us consider two tables populated with data. Okay. So now you can see employee number, employee name, birth date, and the department number. So this is basically this table. That's why I got this table as the example previously as well. So you can see there are two tables. The other table, department name and department number. So, okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4 employees working. Okay, so these 4 employees are working in department 1, department 2, department 3, and department 2 as well. So let's see HR, sales, finance, research. So one is HR. This is HR. This is sales, right? Sales. This is also sales. This is finance. Yeah, finance. Finance. The fourth one is research, but no one is working in the fourth one. Right. So now 1, 2, 3. So you can see here the fourth, no one is working in fourth one. Employee 1 is working in the HR department. Employee 2 is working in sales. Employee 3 is working in the finance, and employee 4 is also again working in sales department. So on delete set null, so you can see here now. You can see here, right? See here. It is important to note that data type of DNO and D number has to be same. So there are several referential integrity options. There are several referential integrity options. Okay. So that we can consider when writing the SQL script. So let's talk about these several options of referential integrity. So now you know what is a referential integrity. So in Access, we only learned about what is referential integrity. So now we are going to learn about options of referential integrity. So in order to understand that, now you know there are two tables. The first table, I have given you a brief description about this table and this table. Keeping that in your mind, let's go. So we can specify these options as restrict, cascade, set null, or set default. 1, 2, 3, 4 on referential integrity constraints. That means foreign keys. Okay. So when we are defining foreign keys, as we did here, we can put these referential integrity options there as well. You can see here now. So we have defined the primary key and put the comma here. And when we have defined the foreign key here, we have mentioned the referential integrity constraints as well. Okay, now let's go to these two tables. Keep this in your mind, this one. When we are defining the foreign keys, we can put the referential integrity as well. You can see here. Now what has happened? On delete, set null, on update, cascade. Right. Remember the pattern? On delete, set null, on update, cascade. So what is this? On delete, set null, on update, cascade. What is this? Okay. For example, I will talk about one now. I will only talk about one. I will talk about other things later. I will talk about on delete, what this means, right? On update, cascade one. So what is this on delete and what is this on update? That's what I wanted to talk about. All right. So let's see. If we are deleting some sort of a, let's say some sort of a department, if we are deleting some sort of a department, okay, let's see. Here, let's see. Same thing, I'm going to draw it here now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And here, 1, 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yes, HR sales, finance, research. Here, HR sales, finance, and this is research. Right, so here the names has to be JARSDPJG. So I will put it like that. Okay, for simple, it makes it simple. Or we can put another name. Okay, JA Radha Shiva RS and DPJG and some. Okay, so on delete. Now what? On delete, what they have told? On delete set null. On delete set null. Okay, so what is on delete? Let's say, so now I have to delete the department sales from department table, right? I have to delete department sales from department table. That means in the company, in this company, there's no longer a department called sales. We are removing the sales department from the company. So now that means we have to delete this one. So when we are deleting this from this table, so the employees who are working in this department, in the employee table, you can see RS, Radha, Shiva, and Jagat, both of them are working in the department too. That means department, sales department. So now what will happen to those employees? When we are deleting the department called sales department, we have to do something for the employees, right? What is happening now? So do we have to quit? We have to chase the two employees away from the department, or we have to establish those two employees into another department? Understand what I'm saying? So now let's say on deletion, set null. That means on deletion, now what can happen? Now, no need to delete or no need to chase these employees out of the company. You can both put them in null. This is null now. Null now. So when we are deleting this department from the department table, automatically what will happen to the employees? The employees' foreign key values will become null. Will become null. Okay. Okay. So now you know what is this means, right? On delete. So when you are deleting values from another table, the reference table's values will be set to null. and on update cascade. So what is this? On update cascade. So the next one, let's see. So on update. So let's say you are going to update the department's number sales into 5. So now when we are updating this automatically, what will happen here? This will be updated as well. Now I think you have a basic idea about what these referential integrity constraints means, right? So these, sorry, not constraints, referential integrity, yeah. Constraints and referential integrity options are. Okay, now I think you have a clear idea. So we'll further go and look about this, what is there in your PDF, and have an idea about this. Okay, on delete set null, on update cascade, on delete cascade. Okay, so now you know what is cascade and set null. Cascade and set null. Okay, let's see. So on delete set null, when a record in the department table is being deleted, so as I did before, if this is being deleted, right? Department number of all records in the employee table will be set to null, and this will be null, right? On delete set to null. For example, if we delete the row with the department number 2, that means here, this one. If we delete this one, accordingly, the rows which is affected is in employee number 2, this one here. Accordingly, what will happen? This one, right? This one, right? The values will be set to null. Okay. This one, and here this will become null. This will become null. These two rows. Okay. These two will become null. So on update cascade, if the parent primary key in the department table is changed, for example, let's say the D number of 5th table, sales department table, right? So for example, if we change the D number to 5, right, in D name sales, and department number 2 in the department table, then the employee table D number in the rows, employee 2 and 5 will be updated to 5. That's what I did here also. So if we have updated this one, automatically this will be updated. We talked that earlier as well, right? So if we have delete this one, on delete, so now we are going to talk about, so on delete set null, on delete set null, what will happen if we delete this one, right? These two will become null values. Okay, and the next one is on update cascade. If we update this one, let's update this to 6, this will become 6 as well. Okay, so and on delete cascade, the next one. So now you know about this one, now you know about this one. On delete cascade. So now what will happen? When a record in the department table is deleted, okay, when a record in the department table is deleted, all the records in the employee table will also be deleted that have the same department number value. For example, if we delete the row D number in the department table, accordingly, employee tables, rows with employee number 2 and 4 will be deleted. For example, let's say if we have deleted this one, this entire row will be deleted and this entire row will be deleted. Understand? Balam? Okay, let's take this one, delete set null. Once again, I'm going to talk about this as a summary so that you will understand what I'm saying properly. Okay, my dear friends. So now let's see. So you can see here, right? So delete set null. So when the first one, now we are going to talk about the first one. So on delete set null, so what will happen? When you delete this entire department, that means department 5 from the department tables, the mentioned values, the employees who are working here, the values of this, the foreign keys, the foreign key of this mentioned department here will set to null. This will become null. Right? This is set, delete, set, null. When you delete this one, the mentioned values in the other table, right, the foreign key will become null. This one. Right? The next one is on update cascade. That means when you update this one, let's say you are updating sales is in 6, then now the department number is 6. We can update like that, right? So now what happens? On update here, it cascades here as well. This becomes 6, this becomes 6. Okay, this is the second one. All right. So the last one, on delete cascade. So now what happens? When you delete this entire row, the entire department, okay, so the values that reference the department in the employee table, all the values will be deleted as well. This one and this one on delete cascade. Okay, so now, yes, you can see create table employee 2. So the next one, on delete set default. On delete set default. So what happens now? All right. This is a little bit different than the other 3. Set default. Okay, so now what happens? So now we have to mention the default value. We have to mention the default value first. Let's see. Let's see like this. Let's see like this. The first thing is when you are deleting, let's say you are deleting values from department here. Okay, so let's say you have deleted this one. Okay, so there are 2 employees who are working in sales departments. So now you have deleted. Okay, this has to be so now you have deleted sales department from the department table, and now, right, now you know it will affect this to employee 2 and 4, isn't it? Now it will affect employee 2 and 4. So now what happens? Now we have deleted, okay, set default. So now when we are deleted this department, right, we can put a default value. Let's say, so now we have deleted these two, this, and now they are not working in sales department anymore. So now we can put a default value. Let's say like the default value is what? Department 1. Department 1 is a default value, right? So now when we have deleted the sales department from department tables, and I know that it will, and you know that it will affect the employees who are working in that particular department. But now what we can do is we can assign a default department for them. So when we delete this one, they will automatically be assigned to HR department. Understand? So if we delete, let's say we delete this one now, financial, then it will affect the employee number 3. Then automatically we can set them to be assigned to department number 1, HR department. That is what on delete set default means. So when we are deleting a value here, a default value will be automatically assigned to the particular tables foreign key. Okay. Okay, so now that is being happened here. So create table employee 2. Now we have created table employee 2. You can see here employee number, employee name, birth date, and here, right, this is the primary key. You can see here the primary key is this one, PK. And the foreign key here is this one, FK. And there's another table department, this one. Okay. So this is the other table, the number, the name. Okay. So now what is happen here? So on delete. So when we are deleting any data from this one, this table, department table, set default. Set default. That means, let's say default value here, you can see the default value is being mentioned here. The default value, sorry. This is the F key, okay? This is the foreign key. They have mentioned this as the foreign key. So you can see here the default value is being mentioned. So now what happened? When you delete a record from here, the department table, the affected employee table's foreign key will be changed to 1. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 is here, and the second value is being deleted. The department number 2 is being deleted, and in the employee table 2 was here. Now what happens? When you delete this one, automatically this 2 will become what now? 1. So on delete, automatically set to default value. So the default value is being mentioned as 1 here. So on update cascade, that means when you update something here, let's say this 3 become 4, automatically here, if it was 3, it becomes 4 now. You can mention one by one like that. All these 4. You can mention one by one like that. Restrict, cascade, set null, set default. So on delete, what will happen? On delete, we can mention set default value. On update, cascade like that. You can mention what happens between the relationship. What happens if one table changes? What happens to the other table by the foreign key? That means the relationship. Okay. So now I think you have a clear idea about that as well. Right. So identify the primary keys, foreign keys, and data types of attributes of the relations given below. Create tables using SQL and MySQL. Using SQL in MySQL. Right. You can see here there are few tables, isn't it? Student table, enrollment, subject, book adoption, and the book. Right. So now this activity is for you. So identify the primary keys. Understand? And the foreign keys. And the data types. Okay, and the data types. So, yes, I think that's, yeah, enrolled date. Yeah, okay, subject name, plus adopted date. Okay. So now, please give me 1 minute. So now, let's go and see how to drop a table. How to drop a table. What is drop a table means? How to actually delete a table. So for that, let's go now again to the command line and see tables we have already. Yeah, we only have one table which is called department. So let's create another table. Okay. So how to create another table like this? Create table company. Sorry, employee. Let's create a table called employee. What happened there? Oh, yeah, we cannot do like that. We have to create, sorry, we have to create a column here. So let's see like this. Create table employee, and let's say this has to be EMP number. So let's see EMP number, right? So EMP number, and this has to be EMP name. Let's put underscore there. This has to be EMP underscore name, and the primary key has to be EMP underscore number. No need of this. Okay, so now we have created a table called employee. Go to and save it. Take this as this is. Take this like this. And let's, yeah. Oh, sorry. But we have to create it like this. There are spaces, spaces has to be there. Like this. Okay, anyway, we'll type it. It's better, no? Employee, and then if you're doing this with me, please type it. Number, integer, not null, and then emp underscore name varchar not null, primary key is emp underscore number. So no need to put this one here. This comma has to be equal. Right, so here one and this one and press enter. Okay, now the table has been made. So let's see. You can see two tables are there, the department table and the employee table. So now what we are going to do is we are going to delete this table. We are going to drop this table. So how to delete this? Go drop. Then you have to mention table and you have to mention which table you have to drop. Okay, so now shall we go and see show tables? You can see, of course, that employee table has been deleted now. Okay. So next one we are going to learn about is altering. Alter or to change, update a table. So alt table is to add, delete or modify columns in an existing table. So you can see here, the command is alt table, right? And you have to put the table name and then you have to put the what you have to change. Now what we are going to do is, right, let's see. Let's take this one again. Then our table is there. Describe. Let's describe the table. Let's describe employee. Okay, now you can see here the table is right. Two fields are there: employee number, employee name, and then the employee number is integer, employee name is varchar. Right? Null, null, no null values, and the primary key is employee number. Okay, so let's draw this one. Let's draw this one. Basically, now you can see here there are EMP number and EMP name. So this is the primary key. All right, let's insert some data. Okay, so now you can see here, right? Employee number integer, not null. Employee number varchar is also not null. That means there has to be no null values. There has to be no null values. There has to be no null values. Okay, let's see. Jagat, Hasun, Chamil, Chamil. Let's say Chamil. Right, let's see. So if there is no null values, that means this cannot be like this. Understand? This cannot be like this. Everything has to be filled. No spaces. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we are going to add another column. Right? That column is called email. That column is called email. Or let's say we'll add address. Okay. Not email. Let's add address. ADDR. So what I recommend you now is not to put not null there. Not to put not null. Don't put not null. Do not put not null here. So you can see here, they have not put not null here as well. Why is that? Not null constraint is not allowed for newly added columns. It's not allowed. Why is that? As the existing records in the table will have null values. Null for the new attribute. It is not possible to set not null. It is not possible. You can see here. So already there was three values when we are inserting address here. Already there are three values when we insert address here. Three values. Okay. So now only we are inserting the address. Okay. So now if we are inserting address here, the already inserted values may have null values here. May have null values here. So because of that, we cannot insert not null into the new attribute. Because why? Because already there are null values here. Right? See, not null constraint is not allowed for newly added columns. As the existing records or rows in the table will have null for the new attribute. Existing records will have none. Existing records will have none. It is not possible to set not null. It's not possible. Okay, let's see how to do this. Okay, let's take this one. Right. Sorry. Save it. Okay, good. So now you know the table. We have described the table here. So we are going to insert another field here. So how to do that? Alter table employee. This table's name is employee, right? So then space add address, ADDR address, or simply put EMP underscore ADDR, and it has to be, the data type is varchar, and the length is 120. And when we press enter, okay, query is okay now. Let's go and see whether it has been inserted in the employee as an attribute. Okay, now you can see here, employee number, employee name, and employee address is there. Right. So now you can see here, this is not null, but here what has happened? Null, yes, we can insert null values here. Why we have done like that? Because of this situation here. Because of this, that's why I recommended not. We cannot put null values in a newly added attribute. Okay. All right. So the next one. So using the update commands, the database users can enter a value for new attribute. Email in each employee record. So let's see. We will talk about update command in the next lesson, DML, but here, using the update commands, database users can enter a value for the new attribute email in each employee record. So let's see, change the data type of an attribute. Change the data type of an attribute. So this is, we are going to talk about this update later, right? We are going to talk about update later. That's why I just wanted to quit this part. But anyway, I just briefly talked about this. We will learn about this update later. Don't worry. All right, don't worry about that. So let's move on from there. Change the data type of an attribute. So now you can see here the data type is integer, varchar, and char. All right. So let's put another column here. All right. So old table employee, add employee telephone. All right. So now let's go describe employee. Oh, sorry, very sorry. I have to exit from here now. Describe what happened there. I didn't put the semicolon here, right? Employee. You can see now employee number, address, name, and telephone number is there. You can see the telephone numbers, data type is varchar, and the data length is 120. So we have to change this. How to do so? So again, what we have to do is we have to go and right, all the table employee, then modify the next one. Modify. Understand? Modify. Here what we do is add. Add. So now we are modifying. Modifying which column? Column telephone. EMP underscore telephone into integer. Integer, and we'll give a character of 10. Data length of 10. Data length of 10 here. Right. Look at the command alter table employee. We are telling to alter the table, change the table's employee column, employee telephone number into integer. Now it is varchar into integer and it is end. Okay. So let's see. Describe employee and enter. So now you can see here. Previously, employee telephone number was varchar. Now the employee telephone number is integer. Now the employee's telephone number is integer. So we have modified the column of the table. Modify the column of the table. So likewise, you can change the name. Right? So let's see. Change the name. How to do so? First, we will have another take this. Okay, email. Right. So now there's email. So how to modify now? What I have to do is I have to change this email, rename this attribute email into employee email. So how to do so? Alt table have to press, you have to enter alt table. It's telling MySQL that we are going to change the table employee some way. So now, okay, so it didn't copy. So very sorry. Old table employee. So how to alter table the employee? How to change this? How to update this? By change the existing attribute email name into emp underscore email. Right. Character length, the data type and everything remains same. All right, so now you can see email has become emp email. Email has become emp email. All right, so same way, if you need to delete an attribute, drop column, drop column, drop column. So let's do that as well. How to drop a column? So what column should we drop? Right, we'll drop this email like this. Yep, we'll drop this email. So how to do so? Again, we are telling MySQL that we are going to update the table. Which table we are going to update? Employee table. And we are going to, what is the update we are doing? We are going to drop a column or delete a column. Which column? emp underscore email, this column. All right. Oh, okay, describe. So what happened? Here you can see I have inserted additional D here, syntax wrong. Okay. Now you can see there is no employee email attribute inside the table. We have deleted that. So then comes rename. So renaming, yeah. So we are not going to rename the existing tables here. So we are going to create another table. Create, let's say, create table. Let's create a table employee 1. I will tell why I'm doing that, because we need the employee table in the future as well. So oh God, we need, very sorry. Very sorry, because why? We need to, when we are creating a table, we have to give these details there. Otherwise, it will not work. Right? Understand? So now let's go. Let's make this employee 1. Okay. So now employee 1 table. Okay, now another table is being made. So let's go and show tables. All right, now you can see inside the database called company, there are 3 tables: department table, employee table, and then employee 1 table. So if you go and see inside employee 1 table, yes, now you can see employee number and employee name is already there. 2 attributes are there. All right. So now what we are going to do is we are going to rename employee 1 table into employee 2. How to do that? How to do that? This one. Save it. Save it like this. Okay. So how to do that? Very easy. Rename table. Now you have to give the table's name. It's employee 1, 2, employee 2. So now we are making this employee 1 table, employee 2, semicolon. So now what happened? Now let's see whether that has worked. Go to show tables. Yes, you can see employee 1 has become employee 2. Now I'm going to drop this table, drop table. Why I'm dropping it? So make sure your database is very clean, right? Without unnecessary tables. You have to have all the necessary tables inside the database. Don't put unnecessary tables. Understand? Just put like necessary tables. So I'm going to now drop this one. Okay, now it is being dropped anyway. So the other one I want to talk is trunket. Trunket. To remove the table content while keeping the structure of the table. So now if you have, now, if you insert drop table, when you put the command drop table, the entire table will be deleted. The entire table will be deleted with the data inside. With the data inside. Understand what I'm saying? Right? The entire table will be deleted with the data inside. Okay. So to remove the table content while keeping the structure, let's say now, like this. So now you can see here. Let's see. There are some. So when you give the command drop table, the entire table will be deleted with the values inside. The structure and the data inside. The structure of the table, employee name, employee number and the address, and the mention the data inside those respective attributes will be deleted as well. Okay, when you give the command drop table. So when you give the command trunket table employee, then what will happen? We can use the trunket command in this data definition language. It will remove all the records from the table. Right? It will remove all the records from the table. Thus, every space allocated for the database removed. So this will remove the content while keeping the structure of the table. Then what will happen? When you said trunket table here, trunket, what will happen? So every record inside, this table will be deleted. Every record inside this table will be deleted. All right, deleted. But the structure of the table will be preserved. Let's see. So we are inserting data in data manipulation languages in the next lesson. But now let's go to the department. Refresh this one. Okay, now you can see there are two different tables. Let's select this one. And insert some data. All right, I will insert some data and I will come back. All right, now you can see that I have inserted some data. Employee number 1, employee name Lina, employee address Gampaha, employee's telephone number is 1. So I will insert another one. All right, two are there. Two are there now. So now let's see what will happen. So I will put insert command trunket, and then you have to select the trunket table employee. Let's say trunket table. My table is employee. So employee and present. All right, my query is now working. My query is now. Let's see whether the table is already there. Right? Four tables. So if I give the command as drop table employee, that means that this employee table has to be deleted. So now I put trunket table. So let's see whether the table is there or not. The table is there. The table is there. So let's go and see. Now this is the table. Table is there. Employee table is there. Let's refresh and see whether the table structure, employee number, employee name, employee address, employee telephone number will be there, but the data which I have inserted will be gone. Let's see. Okay, you can see now the structure is there. The structure is there, but the inserted details have gone. The inserted details have gone. That is trunket. So I didn't actually insert data through the command line. Why? Because in the next lesson is solely dedicated for that. The next lesson is solely dedicated for that. So because of that, I didn't insert values through the command line. We will learn about that in the next lesson. All right. So it is all about DDL in MySQL. I hope that you learned about a good knowledge from this lesson, right? So I will meet you with lesson 12 with another video.